Hello everyone! Our next lesson is about factoring polynomials in a form of difference of two squares. But before we proceed on that, let us first review perfect squares. Ano ba yung mga perfect squares? 1 is a perfect square. Bakit? Kasi 1 times 1 is equal to 1. Another example is 4 because 2 times 2 is equal to 4. 16 is also a perfect square because 4 times 4 is equal to 16. Another example is 100 because 10 times 10 is equal to 100. Another example is r squared because r times r is equal to r squared. Another is 9m squared because 9 is a perfect square and m squared is also a perfect square, which is 3m times 3m is equal to 9m squared. Okay, so here is now the summary of or sum of the perfect squares. We have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, 225, 256, 289, 324, 361. In terms of variable, we have x squared, y squared, m to the 4th power, s to the 8th power, and x to the 100th power. In terms of variable, kung makikita nyo, ang exponent ay laging divisible by 2. So, any variable raised to a number which is divisible by 2 is a perfect square. So, here are the steps in factoring difference of two squares. Example is x squared minus y squared. So, paano natin malalaman na ang given polynomial ay difference of two squares? Siyempre, ang operation dapat subtraction. At ang first term dapat at second term ay perfect square. Okay, so here are the steps on how to factor this. Step number 1 is get the square root of each term. The first term is x squared, so the square root of it is x. The second term is y squared. The square root of y squared is y. And then step number 2 is write the square root in a form of sum and difference of two binomials. Dahil may square root na tayo ng first and second term which are x and y, yung sum nila is x plus y. Enclose it in parentheses. And then the difference is x minus y. So that is now the factored form of x squared minus y squared. Yung operation po na plus and minus may interchange their position. Pwede pong x minus y and x plus y. It will not affect the product if you're going to multiply the two binomials. Okay, so ganun lang po kasimple ang pag-factor ng difference of two square. Magtiwala lang sa sarili at masasagutan natin ng tama ang problema sa math. Okay, so let us have another examples. A squared minus b squared. That is a difference of two squares. So you have the square root of a squared, a, minus, this time inuna ko si minus, square root of b squared, b. So the next factor is a plus b. Next is x squared minus 4. The square root of x squared is x. Plus, o inuna ko ngayon si plus. The square root of 4 is 2. So the next factor is x minus 2. Next, 9x squared minus 25y squared. Parehong perfect square ang first term at saka second term. Okay, the square root of 9x squared is 3x minus the square root of 25y squared is 5y. So the next factor is 3x plus 5y. Pareho lang yung first term at saka second term. Doon lang po sila nagkakaiba sa operation. Yung isa ay minus, yung pangalawa ay plus. Or you may interchange them. Another example is 36m squared minus 49n squared. Square root of 36m squared is 6m minus 49n squared. The square root of it is 7n. The next factor is 6m plus 7n. Next is r, quantity r plus s squared minus 100. In this example, ang first term natin ay r plus s squared. Ang second term natin ay 100. So, we will get the square root of r plus s squared. And the square root of that is r plus s plus the square root of 100, which is 10. So, enclosed in a bracket, bakit bracket? Kasi ginamit na natin yung parenthesis sa r plus s. Hindi po pwedeng dalawang beses mo siyang gagamitin. Okay. The next factor is r plus s minus 10. The same thing with the first factor. But in our final answer, dapat nakasimplified ang ating factored form. So, tatanggalin natin yung parenthesis sa loob and we will replace the bracket by parenthesis. You have r plus s plus 10 times r plus s minus 10. That is now the factored form of quantity r plus s squared minus 100. Pag dumadami po ang terms, wag po kayong magugulat. Basta just follow the steps on how to factor difference of two squares.
Yay! Congratulations! Well done! I'm so happy for you. And now it's time to celebrate.
Congratulations!